Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. We made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend, and we also made it to halfway through the month of December, if you can believe that. But of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday with a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, it's really news you can use. Part of my conversation with Dr. Wajahat Mehal, talking about the importance of knowing about food sensitivities. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy our broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Thursday headlines. In national news, U.S. deaths fell this year, but not to pre-COVID levels. The number of U.S. deaths dropped this year, but there are still more than there were before the coronavirus hit. Preliminary data through the first 11 months of the year indicates 2022 will see fewer deaths than the previous two COVID-19 pandemic years. Current reports suggest deaths may be down about 3% from 2020 and about 7% versus 2021. U.S. deaths usually rise year to year, in part because the nation's population has been growing. The pandemic accelerated that trend, making last year the deadliest in U.S. history, with more than 3.4 million people dying. If current trends continue, this year will mark the first annual decline in deaths since 2009. It will be months before health officials have a full tally. The October and November numbers are not yet complete, and a late December surge could change the final picture. If the decline does hold, it will still be a far cry from where the nation was before the coronavirus appeared. This year's count is likely to end up at least 13% higher than what it was in 2019. Once again, most of the annual change is due to the ebb and flow of COVID-19, which has killed more than 1 million Americans since it first was recognized in the U.S. in early 2020. This year started off horribly with about 73,000 COVID deaths in January alone, the third deadliest month from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. For 2022, the bulk of mortality was concentrated during that Omicron wave at the beginning of the year. COVID-19 will nonetheless end up as the nation's third leading cause of death this year, just as it was in 2020 and 2021, behind the perennial leader, heart disease and cancer. Heart disease deaths, which have tended to surge in tandem with COVID-19 deaths, are on track to be down from 2021, and it's not clear whether the number of cancer deaths will change based on preliminary data. In more national news, Paul Pelosi attack, man told cop of evil in Washington. The man accused of attacking the husband of U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said there was evil in Washington and he was looking to harm Pelosi because she is second in line for the presidency, a San Francisco police investigator testified on Wednesday. The suspect, who Conversations Daily News is not naming, broke into the Pelosi San Francisco home on October 28th, seeking to kidnap the speaker, who was out of town, and instead beat her 82-year-old husband, Paul Pelosi, with a hammer, authorities said on Wednesday. The violence sent shockwaves through the political world. The San Francisco Superior Court judge ruled that prosecutors had shown enough evidence during a preliminary hearing to move forward with a trial on the state charges, including attempted murder. The suspect is due back in court on December 28th. In more national news, U.S. storm brings tornadoes, blizzard-like conditions with 2 reported dead. A volatile storm ripping across the U.S. spawned tornadoes that killed a young boy and his mother in Louisiana, smashed mobile homes and chicken houses in Mississippi, and threatened neighboring southern states with more punishing weather on Wednesday. To the north, the huge storm system delivered blizzard-like conditions to the Great Plains and was expected to push more snow and ice into Appalachia and New England. The wintry blast dumped more than 2 feet of snow in parts of South Dakota. In northern Louisiana, it took hours for authorities to find the bodies of a mother and her child reported missing after a tornado struck the rural Keithville community near Shreveport on Tuesday afternoon. A steady stream of tornado warnings were issued Wednesday across portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. In entertainment news, Stephen Twitch Boss, Ellen Show's dancing DJ, dies at 40. Stephen Twitch Boss, the longtime and beloved dancing DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres Show and a former contestant on So You Think You Can Dance, has died. His wife confirmed his passing in a statement published Wednesday on People.com. It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to share my husband Stephen has left us, she said. Stephen lit up every room he stepped into. He valued family, friends, and community above all else, and leading with love and light with everything to him. He was the backbone of our family, the best husband and father, and an inspiration to his fans. In more entertainment news, Eddie Murphy to receive the Cecil DeMille Award at the Globes. Eddie Murphy will receive the Cecil DeMille Award at the 80th Golden Globes, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association announced on Wednesday. Murphy has been nominated for a Globe 6 times before, winning once for his performance in 2006's Dreamgirls. And finally, in business news, stocks tumble after Fed hikes rate, signals more to come. A bumpy day of trading on Wall Street ended with stocks broadly lower Wednesday after the Fed Reserve raised its benchmark interest rate in its fight against inflation and signaled that more hikes lay ahead. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. You are wonderfully made. That means that nothing about you is without reason or purpose. Discovering your purpose should be your aim. Walking in your purpose should be your goal. Have an amazing Thursday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Dr. Wajahat Mehal in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Featuring news you can use, Dr. Wajahat Mehal joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the prevalence of food sensitivities and the impact. Here's a bit of our conversation. Dr. Mehal, thank you so much for the time.
Pleasure to be with you.
Well, this is an interesting conversation. We've had people actually come on our radio show, Dr. Mehal, talking to us about food sensitivities. How prevalent are food sensitivities, and how can they impact our health?
So, during the course of our lifetime, they seem to be very prevalent, and possibly as many as 50% of the population at some point in their life might be affected by food sensitivity. And one of the challenges is that actually the symptoms people get can definitely be in the GI stomach area with bloating and pain, but they can also be outside the GI and stomach area, such as arthritis and fatigue and headaches. So I think the prevalence is high, and they can be difficult to associate.
Well, Dr. Mehal, I know that Yale University did a study recently. Talk to us about what it revealed when it comes to food sensitivities.
Yes, of course. So, because it can be very difficult for patients to identify and figure out by themselves, there are a number of tests that are available. These are blood tests, which patients can send off, and they will get results back guiding them as to which foods might be causing their symptoms. We use one of the more prominent ones, the ALCAT test, and we conducted a randomized clinical trial which was blinded. The patients did not know, whether they were in the test arm or the control arm. And these were patients who had irritable bowel syndrome, which is a very common gastrointestinal problem, causing a lot of pain and bloating and discomfort for patients. And what we basically found was that when the results from the ALCAT test were used to guide patients as to which foods they should avoid or specific ingredients in foods they should avoid, that actually their symptoms were improved. And that was very encouraging.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a good one.